post-Dieselgate world, I'm sure we've all frankly got a little fed up with Volkswagen promising large numbers of new electric cars, claiming that it will lead the world in electric vehicles and be able to produce cars that are just as good as Tesla's for half of the price. Fed up, that is, because to date, Volkswagen really hasn't produced any of the goods it's been talking about for more than 3 years. But in a recent interview with Automotive News, Herbert Diess, CEO of the Volkswagen Group, said that Volkswagen has already booked its new MEB electric vehicle toolkit for a total of 50 million vehicles, batteries for which he's claiming have already been sourced. He also added, unsurprisingly given Volkswagen's recent bullishness on electric cars, that he believes Volkswagen has the best strategy for electric vehicles to come, noting that Volkswagen was open to licensing the MEB toolkit underpinning its next generation of electric vehicles to other automakers. Diess also commented that he believed that while many people drive too far per year even today for electric cars to be a good choice, more and more people are finding electric cars meet their needs in Europe, China and the US, because they drive long distances infrequently, and electric cars are becoming far better than they once were in terms of range and recharging capabilities. During the same interview with Automotive News, Diess reiterated that Volkswagen's first MEB platform electric vehicle will arrive next year in the form of the ID-based hatchback that would be the same size as a Golf but offer the interior space of a Passat. He also promised 400 to 600 kilometers, that's 249 to 373 miles of range per charge, depending on battery pack. In addition, he promised the ID-based car would have rapid charging, fast acceleration, and the sticker price of an average diesel vehicle. Of course, if you're an electric car fan, none of this is news to you, and it's easy to pass off Diess's comments as being more hype. Frankly, I wouldn't blame you if you did. But what exactly does Diess mean when he says Volkswagen has secured batteries for 50 million electric cars? First, I think it's important to note here that 50 million cars isn't something that Volkswagen is going to produce overnight. In fact, last year, Volkswagen sold 10.7 million vehicles. Even if it transitioned that huge a number of cars to electric overnight, 50 million vehicles would represent 5 years or more of production. If we consider that Volkswagen had previously said it wanted to produce 10 million electric vehicles by 2027, if everything goes according to plan, that's ramping up from 3 million electric vehicles by 2025, then we even get a clearer picture of how far into the future this statement goes, and how unbelievably vague it really is. Second, that figure quoted by Diess doesn't seem to include, at least according to him, vehicles from Volkswagen's premium brands like Audi and Porsche that will be made on other platforms other than the MEB. And by that I mean vehicles that are based on things like the J1 platform underpinning the upcoming Porsche Taycan and promised Audi e-tron GT. Instead, that figure includes only MEB platform vehicles, which I presume does include the Audi e-tron, as it's based on the second generation MEB platform known as MEB Evo, the same platform for which the MEB toolkit is designed for. It's going to take a long time to reach that promised 10 million vehicles, and it doesn't include all of the vehicles from the Volkswagen family, which means we're looking even further into the future. So what exactly does Diess mean when he says he secured 50 million electric vehicles worth of batteries? Well, given how fast electric vehicle technology moves, I'm guessing that what we're actually looking at is agreements made with suppliers, either of finished battery packs or raw materials, to keep Volkswagen in batteries for the foreseeable future, rather than tying Volkswagen to a particular chemistry or technology, which would make no sense. It could also represent investments in battery technology with an understanding that, should the invested-in company produce the succeeded products, Volkswagen will get exclusive or priority access to the resulting technology. This makes even more logical sense if we consider that Volkswagen has, for several years already, been working with battery companies and researchers on solid-state battery technology. It would make very little sense for Volkswagen to source 50 million cars worth of lithium-ion batteries, for example, if solid-state is just around the corner. But similarly, tying the company to whatever that next generation solid-state technology is ready for wouldn't make sense either, since something bigger and better is undoubtedly going to come along in the future. So why the long-term commitment implied by the statement? Well, simply put, supply and demand. As we've seen several times in recent months, electric vehicle battery supply is already being strained. Tesla's doing okay because it's making its own batteries. Other automakers are finding batteries with different levels of ease. Chevrolet seems to have a constant supply, for example, but Hyundai Kia seems to have major issues getting enough batteries to meet demand. By securing battery supplies so far into the future, Volkswagen is likely hoping to insulate itself from these problems, probably by making a considerable financial investment up front for the hope of some loyalty from suppliers in the future. So is Volkswagen really going to make 50 million electric vehicles? Well, honestly, I think it will. How long will it take? Well, that's another story. If I had to guess, though, I think it's going to be at least a decade before we see that kind of volume met. Or in other words, are likely to be in my 50s or close to it before the 50 millionth Volkswagen EV rolls off the production line. That's it. Don't forget to give us your thumbs up or your thumbs down, leave a comment, and as always, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. As always, thanks to our Patreon supporters, without whom we'd never be able to produce all of this daily content. You can join them for yourselves at patreon.com/transport evolved. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep evolving.